Oi RATBAGGERS, it's Jade, taking a look today at mutations in Grounded 2. Yes, we've already got some info about what we can expect. It does seem to be 19 mutations so far, with some of them being streamlined. In fact, how we define our character is going to be definitely led more by mutations now, in terms of describing the different classes like Ranger, like Fighter, like Mage, and of course Rogue. But don't worry too much, you can still mix and match a whole bunch of them, so let's go through what we do know about the ones that got revealed during the reveals announcement of Grounded 2 so far. So the mutations tab has been sorted out into different categories now: fighting styles, combat abilities, exploration and survival. According to the loadout screen, also there is 4 slots, but this may just be a case of not activating the full 5th slot, or maybe they have reduced it. That's something we'll have to wait and see. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of the mutations are pretty much the same as you expect from Grounded 1. Kill a certain amount of creatures with a weapon and you're going to get some sort of bonus from it. Under fighting style, we've got unarmed, clubs, javelineer, the brand new dual wield class, as well as obviously bows, swords and mage staves. And this is really what the devs have been talking about in terms of leaning into your actual archetype, making it a bit more clearer for players exactly what kind of build to go for, what mutations to always have active. But yeah, with this one, sharpshooter, kill 40 creatures with bows, kill 100, kill 200, and you're going to get more chance of gaining critical hits with charge shots. So at the moment that's a slight difference from what we've already got, as it's normally just more chance of critical hits whenever you shoot, not with charge shots. If they're still doing the same percentages, by the time you've killed 200 creatures with bows, you'll have a 20% extra ability of getting critical hit chances, but only when you use the actual charge shot. When you get to level 3 of a lot of these mutations with combat, you do unlock the mastery. Previously, that was getting more damage out of the candy variants of arrows. For spicy at least, sour gave a little bit more stun, and mint arrows froze enemies a little bit more too. Now that's been done away with, and we've got something called Bowmaster, so we're going to have to wait and see what that actually ends up being. Blade Master's got a slight different description now. It says, honing the art of the blade, your blows knock enemies off balance and lower the damage they deal. Now lowering the damage they deal is returning, but the bit about knocking enemies off, so maybe a little bit more stun build up perhaps. And same deal again, kill 40, kill 100, kill 200 to unlock all 3 stages. The mastery bonus before was allowing you to remove some of your exhaustion timer. But again, Swordmaster, we don't have enough details yet about what kind of mastery perk this is. Wheel Wizard's also really interesting, as it looks like they may have removed one of the candy elements. You can see unleashing the full power of candy staves, sizzle burns brighter and frozen foes shatter spectacularly. The devs stated in some of the in-depth dev blog and the actual podcast they've done a lot of work with the mage builds. So it does sound like eventually, if you build up enough frozen, you could actually make the enemy literally explode into 1,000 chunks. And although we've seen sour rocket tubes for the sour sweets, the wormholes, we haven't actually seen anything that shows the actual sour sweets. And it doesn't list it here, so maybe there won't be a sour staff this time. In fact, there's something else that hints that it's going to be a venom poisonous staff. So it does seem slightly rubbish that potentially, unless they've just forgot to add in all of the actual candy, basically variants. But yeah, the original description did list the sour ability. Same deal as before though, kill 40, kill 100, kill 200 and unlock the Staff Master. Now previously that meant a stamina reduction for your mage build. But again, we'll have to wait and see what it actually means when it comes down to the new game. Javelineer is an unusual one, and I never really concentrated enough on this, I guess, because I didn't realise that it actually acts as thorns. And it seems pretty unchanged with the sequel. Range is your greatest ally, spears deal additional damage when thrown, and counter pokes reflect damage. So it used to be 100%, 150 and 200% of an enemy's hit against you would be reflected back occasionally. And likewise you'd increase the throwing damage by 10, 20 and 30%. The mastery used to be charge attacks with spears deal additional damage. Is that going to be the same? Another one that's had some changes, obviously, because they're now dual wielding, and it doesn't look like we're gonna be having single dagger use anymore. So players that have always enjoyed using a shield and a dagger, does look like you're out of luck. So the assassin now incorporates dual weapons, including daggers as well as sickles. Now we haven't actually really seen the sickles, but it does sound really cool. And the bonus now with the assassin is just dealing bonus damage with critical hits. Previously it was bleed attack using just one dagger. And then the mastery unlocked more bleed or less bleed resistance from creatures, doing 25 more bleed damage. So that's pretty much the weapon proficiencies that we know. We've got no info so far about unarmed or the heavy club builds. So that's the styles. Let's move on to the combat abilities. And you can see there's 5 of them. And one we need to clarify. Ambush isn't really related to just being a stealth class. The devs explicitly said that the rogue class is more about critical hits, movement speed and dashing forward with attacks, not gaining extra damage just simply by creeping up on a creature. What it actually is that anyone can use any kind of weapon as long as you sneak up on an enemy unawares. And using your heavy attack, regardless of what weapon, you'll be able to do more yoked blow damage, effectively increasing the crit damage. So what I'm saying is, it isn't just for only rogue class this ability. It doesn't state anywhere it's only for daggers or anything like that. It's literally any weapon. When you actually look at the footage, you can clearly see it's the same secondary attack that you can use with the dual daggers for sure. So all intents and purposes, yes, going stealth now will be a bit more rewarding, but the dev said that's not really what combat's about in Grounded. So it might not be a full playstyle, but certainly you'll be able to get a little bit more bonus damage if you can get behind an enemy's field of vision and land the secondary heavy attack. And it's also worth noting at the moment there's no extra bonuses listed at least, or masteries for these. So moving on to Frenzy, which is maybe a little bit more suited towards big melee users or heavy hitters. In reality, it's literally Barbarian mutation, just called Frenzy. You'll get extra melee damage and you'll regenerate your health while enraged. Perfect block timing is reduced, so that's exactly the same as Barbarian. Big change though is it's for any melee weapon, or seemingly at least anyway, not just clubs. And also how you unlock it. No more killing enemies with clubs since it's not that thing anymore. Instead, defeat the mysterious stranger. So really splitting this mutation up, I'm guessing, and maybe the club one will have a lot more of the benefits associated with this. And there's a huge maybe spoiler reveal here that yes, there could be a mysterious stranger back in the game. Or of course, is it more actually about the person running around writing things in purple graffiti paint, which I'm still calling right now is humongous with Burgle or Wendell's brain inside. So I was thinking it's kind of unfair to unlock a combat thing behind killing a certain creature, which looks like it's going to be a boss. But remember, this is a bonus ability. You're still going to get a mutation focused on clubs. We just don't know what the actual benefits are going to be. And yeah, this is just like a bonus one. But it's surely got to be a bit early, as it does lend itself to that Barbarian class so perfectly. If the other mutation that is under the playstyles with the club sign isn't something as good, then I think people would complain. So Parry Master is returning, of course, and again it looks like it's going to be doing exactly the same thing, exactly the same description, and we're guessing it's going to give you a perfect block 100% chance to refund a bit of stamina. Difference is the amount of times: 30, 80 and 150 compared to what used to be 20, 60, 100 times. Guard Dog is also a brand new combat ability, and it's exactly the same amount of mixers to complete to get all 3 levels, 1, 4 and 9, and will simply be dealing a lot more damage, 10%, 25% and 50% for each level. And these worked with raids as well, so hopefully that's still going to be a thing. And the last one under combat abilities, Kill a Tarantula, apparently whose name is Axel, and Venom will seep into your sweat glands, imbuing your perfect shots with Seething Rage. Can't lie, I assumed this would give you some extra Venom damage, since it clearly lists Venom as being part of Axel's Venom. But some people in Discord give me some pause to fall and think actually maybe it does make enemies aggro on you more, especially with the line of perfect shots adding Seething Rage, so obviously the bugs would be like more primed to go after you than any friends. And then the bonus for it, the only one that does have a bonus in the actual abilities here, Buggy Threat. Is that going to give more damage to your buggies? Does it maybe also make them more of a threat so other creatures will attack them more? That one seems a bit less likely, because then that means you've literally shot something, you've made it rage, and it's going to go either after you or your buggy. They feel too similar in terms of what they do. But I guess we'll have to see. And we've only got a couple mutations at the moment under exploration. Trapper Peeper returns, collect 20, 40 and 60 gold cards and get more damaging powerful critical hits. Previously it was 20, 40 and 60% for each level. And this has of course fueled speculation there's at least 60 bugs in Grounded 2 straight off the bat. But that's not guaranteed, we might not be able to get the third phase until they've added more. There's like 75 in Grounded 1 currently, but we do know that some bugs won't be making a return or some bugs maybe need more time to be worked on. And I'll save it for another video, but let's got to have a discussion about Trapper Peeper and gold cards and why they're kind of just not great. And then pretty much the last of the confirmed mutations we've seen descriptions for, Natural Explorer. Again, returning from the original, go around 20, 50 or 80 points of interest and you gain extra speed boost. There was 108 different locations I do believe that could trigger Natural Explorer in the original. So the question is, are there going to be 80 at least in the first early access game preview, or is that the full game that you're still going to have to get that? During early access they did increase the amount of locations you had to find to get it as they added more. But if there's 80 maybe potentially or more already in early access, just think of how many more locations and points of interest there will be to find. And then the last lot, again, nothing's confirmed with these, but based on their pictures and some of the previous mutations, we can have a good guess. First one looks to me like cardio, some sort of regain of stamina. The second one looks like it's probably going to be something along the lines of reliable friend, being able to pick up buddies quicker, but obviously not just buddies, but maybe buggies. It's okay to have content for multiple people to play, but for solo players, it's always a little bit iffy that we don't get much use. But now, if we have got pet buggies and more tames, then obviously that could be good, being able to revitalise them. I just hope there's a better perks, like if you pick them up, then they get extra booster health. It's obviously got the health symbol with obviously the timer, so that's the best guess. And then after that, we've definitely got some sort of element mutations. More than likely, the snowflake one is probably the fresh defense mutation, somehow revamped, helping protect you against sizzle as well as give you some extra resistance to gas and burning damage. That's what originally it did. And then yet more than likely spicy safety, again getting more reduced damage from smashing and stabbing. Or is it? If the snowflake is fresh defense and helps you against sizzle, then maybe the chili will also help you against cold. We've seen from a description of the actual chilling stuff when they went into an area, it actually said you can get rid of this by using a torch or a smoothie. Nothing about any armors or mutations. So that's still up in the air. And yeah, it does look like Mithridism is returning, giving extra protection against poisons. The skull in the dropper poison is a pretty much clear indicator of that. So that's it at the moment. Of course, there may be more added. This was a preview build that the journalists got to play. But that's kind of where we're at with the mutations. What I want to know from you guys is what mutations you like to see added. What kind of benefit or boost do you want to see? There were so many really missing, like Ant Annihilator, Mum's Genes, we've got the Truffle Tussle, the Mysterious Stranger itself, Apex Predator, Corporate Kickback, Shock and Dismissal, Bardic Inspiration, basically a lot. So either these can be added or just not really suitable because maybe they don't fit the type of bugs or combat that we'll be getting involved in. But either way, I'm excited to see how the new archetypes play into having these new mutations and how much they really help us flesh out our builds. And that's it from me. I'll be back for more Grounded 2 info, speculation and more, and I'll see you RATBAGGERS soon.